on the answer to all your burning questions.
Hey guys, Rizwan here at Bayoucon in Sulphur, Louisiana with Taylor Gray. You may know him as the voice of Ezra Brigadier and Star Wars Rebels. And we have the esteemed pleasure today of interviewing him about some basic voice acting and about Star Wars Rebels. How's it been being in Louisiana so far?
Great, man. Thanks for having me. It's fun out here. I've been to Baton Rouge and New Orleans before, but I haven't been out to Western Louisiana.
Alright, so how do you get into voice acting?
Everything I've done before this had been live action in front of a camera. And my agent, my theatrical agent, sent me an audition one day saying, "Hey, this voice job came through for this animated show. Do you want to read for it?" And I wasn't working on something at the time. I was like, "Yeah, definitely. How do I do it?" She's like, "Just go in your closet and get out your iPhone." True story. The voice memo on our iPhone. I went to my closet. Like, hey, read the lines, and had a code name. It was called Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it, sent it in, didn't hear anything. And normally on a job, if I don't hear anything within like a week or 2 weeks, I know, like, no, they're going another direction. And this, it was like a month, I hadn't heard anything. And I realized, like, oh, like, maybe that's not for me. And I got a call saying, hey, come into the studio. They want you to meet the director and read what the producer going on. Went in, read it, and a week later, I think I got a call saying, like, hey, they want to offer you the thing, and it's Star Wars. I was like, why didn't anybody tell me it was Star Wars before? And they're like, was it not obvious? I was like, no, I thought it was like a show about wolves or something. And it turned out to be Star Wars, and it's been a roller coaster ride since. It's been super fun, and we get to come to conventions and events like these.
So, were you big into Star Wars before Rebels began?
We could use big loosely. I had seen episodes 4, 5, and 6. I hadn't seen the first 3.
So you've seen Star Wars, basically?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone has seen some Star Wars, and I mean, you realize, like they say, you see what you're looking for. Growing up, I didn't realize how much. I remember kids would have Star Wars shirts at school, have lunch pails that had Star Wars on, and it was just like second nature. And now walking around, like I live out in Los Angeles and we have to drive everywhere out there.
Mm-hmm.
I see Star Wars stickers on so many cars. I see kids with Star Wars shirts, and I realize, like, oh, it's been so prevalent and around everywhere. I just haven't been looking for it now that I'm doing the show, and I know the Rebel insignia and the Clone Wars sign. I'm like, oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah. So, for you, what's like a childhood dream, like to get into acting and voice acting and being on the screen and all that?
It definitely became a dream once I realized what this world was all about. And when I was 13, I did my first film, and I had done a handful of commercials before that.
Mm-hmm.
And on that film, I worked with an actor who was a method actor, which is a real technique of acting, a studied technique. And I was on set, and I was like, this guy believes that in this film, he had been shot in the head, and he's the rehabilitation to come back to full strength. And I was like, this guy really believes that he had been shot in the head, and is acting in such a way where he's trying to get stronger every day. And I was like, I'm that. I want to subscribe to that. I want to learn how to really do that. So I got into a lot of acting schools, and I started studying just like you study math or anything else. And it became something that I was very passionate about. So this has all been a dream. And to work on a franchise that is as big as it is, I'm just trying to not mess up my character in it and keep everyone happy. It's been so fun.
And you mentioned earlier in your panel, we're working on season 3 now of the TV show. You know, can you tell us about it?
We get a lot of Darth Maul.
Okay.
Kanan is now blinded, so Ezra has to take on more responsibility in leading our group of rebels. So as he's maturing, he's also taking on more responsibility. So it's cool. He's playing Ezra. He takes things a little more seriously. In the first 2 seasons, he's kind of that whippersnapper who's like going around, and he's very cavalier, and now he's like, I've got to be the de facto leader, and I've got to take on more responsibility, and I've got to lead us against the Empire. So it's a very interesting season.
I get the sense when I'm watching the last bit of season 2 that Ezra is leaning more towards the dark side, especially with the way Darth Maul was going.
A lot of people are getting that vibe. And that's why this show is amazing, because they leave cliffhangers like that. And he's a Jedi, but Darth Maul is is really calling out to him, and he calls him his apprentice, and he wants his attention. He's vying for that. So we'll see what side Ezra ends up taking.
Definitely. So for you and the voice acting, this is your first gig, right?
Yep.
How is it going from traditional voice acting to voice acting?
It's interesting. I've seen that I've been saying this a lot this last weekend, that when you're acting, all the technique that you're taught, like I can make a face right now to you, and you'll know if I'm happy, you'll know if I'm sad, if there's contempt, whatever it is. But in voice acting, that emotion, I can't rely on. Like if I'm crying right now, but there's a camera or a microphone, you don't know that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to emote all of these emotions through your voice. So it's been great because I've learned how to use my voice in a way in acting that I hadn't before.
Okay.
And so I find it very difficult, and I've been telling everyone on the show, yeah, it's been really fun to learn how to do this in this way. But at the end of the day, it's acting, and it's developing a character and playing off of the people around you.
So, I don't know how much you know about the anime voice acting, but it's just a lot different, like the way y'all do voice acting for something American made.
That's something I would probably have to ask you, actually. I think so. I haven't done any anime or even read for any anime. The auditions I've gotten since voice acting have been for Transformers and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe.
So what I'm told is whenever an anime voice actor does it, they do it on their own in a studio box with none of the other actors are present. I mean, they do it like different times during the week or month or whatever.
Oh, wow. So yeah, that is different because we record as a group. We have the whole cast through and we record together. So I'm taking a line off you, I'm saying it, I look at you. As we're interacting, we're just acting off each other. And I've had to do pickups before, which is like where you go in and pick up certain lines that maybe they were a little unclear when we first filmed it or whatever it may be, and do it again, and we'll go in by ourselves to do that. And it's so much harder because you don't have someone who's like receiving what you're putting out. And that's interesting because people have said like, oh yeah, for this show we do it all on our own. And that blows my mind.
Oh wow. So whenever you are with your group of people doing your voice acting for the episode, what comes first? Is the voice, like, do the voices come first or does the animation come first?
Voices.
Okay.
So we have a script, and then there's a camera set up on every one of us, and they film. So if we're singing a line like this, when they animate it, they'll narrow the eyes and make the face a little more serious based on how we set the line. If we're big and boisterous, they'll match that. So we record it, they have the tape, and they send it off. I keep saying this, and I don't know if it's right or wrong. I think it's Taiwan where the animators are for our show specifically. I'm pretty sure it is, and they get it. They animate it all to us, and then they send it back, and then we have the animation.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not how it is the anime voice actors.
Yeah.
The animation comes first, and you have to match that. Like,
See, that's Wow. Yeah, I don't know how I would fare on that.
Yeah, that's really interesting though. Like I've never really heard the other side of the coin, how it is that way. So that's really intriguing to me at least.
Yeah. Right on.
What is your favorite moment of Rebels so far?
This season 2 finale with Darth Maul, but when Vader comes and Ahsoka, that encounter, just the fact that I got to fight Vader even though he destroyed my lightsaber, I was like, fuck, Darth Vader, like, that was cool. So that's probably been the highlight of everything so far.
Do you foresee a round 2 in the future with y'all? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna be ready.
You ready this time?
Yeah.
You gonna whoop some ass?
Well, let's hope so. I'm gonna need some help. I mean, Darth Vader is arguably one of the strongest, most fierce villains in all of cinema.
Oh yeah.
So, like Ezra, as strong as I'd like to think he is gonna need some. It's gonna be a thing where it's gonna be like Kanan and Ezra against Vader. He can't take on Vader.
Yeah.
So,
last question, because I know you're on a time crunch here. Millennium Falcon or the Ghost? Which one do you think is faster?
oh, if it were just favorite, like they'd done it on the panel, of course the Ghost. But I respect Star Wars, and I know that Falcon, I've seen that thing fly around. The Ghost is quick, and it goes to hyperspace, and it's where I bunk and where I live. But I think the Falcon may edge out The Ghost. The Ghost is an amazing ship.
Yeah. Do you ever foresee, sorry, I know I said I was last question, but do you ever foresee like the Falcon coming in or like Han Solo down the road?
We've talked about that with Dave. That would be very cool, and I could see a scene where Hera and Han Solo are talking about what's faster, the Falcon or the Ghost. So we'll see. That'd be very cool.
Yeah. Well, this whole time we have today, I know you got your photos too, so we'll take twists of your time. But thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much, Rizwan.
Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Louisiana trip.
Yep, for sure. Thank you.
And we'll see y'all later.
Hey you! Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. You can also check out Enemy Secrets on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. Do you want more than that? I know you do. Then go to our website where you can see daily updates and articles and exclusive interviews.